Have you ever wanted a friend? A friend who can't not be your friend? Then you should be a summoner. Summoners are sorcerers who can design, create, and manifest a weird monster companion from another dimension called an Eidolon. They are spontaneous spellcasters and their key attribute is charisma. But a lot of characters can have friends. Rangers and druids have animal companions and wizards can use summoning spells. So what is the point of a summoner? If a character has an animal companion, both the character and their animal companion have their own character sheet. However, the animal companion has the minion trait. That means they don't get actions or reactions on their own. You, the owner, must spend one action to grant the minion 2 actions. If it's an animal, for example, you use command an animal. Essentially, you get a little mini character who can't act on their own. A summoner also has a friend called an Eidolon. You can summon your unique permanent Eidolon friend with the 3-action activity Manifest Eidolon. You and the Eidolon share a mark demonstrating your connection, and you can dismiss your Eidolon back to their dimension. The maximum distance between you is 100 feet. You and your Eidolon will each also have their own character sheet. While you are a spontaneous spellcaster, your Eidolon will usually be optimized for melee fighting. However, this Eidolon does not have the minion trait. Does that mean you have 2 characters with 2 separate pools of actions? Actually, the opposite. You and your Eidolon share hit points and actions. The point of a summoner is not necessarily having 2 characters, but having 2 arms of one character that are both optimized at either spellcasting or physically fighting, letting you, the player, do both. The summoner and Eidolon can coordinate with each other better with the action Act Together. You can only use Act Together once per round, and only if you and the Eidolon are there, and it allows one of you to use one action for free at the same time that the other one does something else. Essentially, you get 1 free action per round. You can use this to strategize with your Eidolon. You can cast a spell while they strike, and still have 1 action left over. They can stride forward as you stride back, and have 2 actions left over. Your Eidolon can strike 3 times while you eat some almond cheese. Act Together also lets you do different exploration activities in exploration mode. Since you, the summoner, and your Eidolon share hit points and actions, it can be confusing what you have the same and what's different. But actually, except hit points and actions, most things are separate. Both the summoner and Eidolon occupy a different space, and they perceive different things with their different senses, unless they use the action Share Senses, and they'll have different character sheets. While they might share some of the same proficiencies, like for skills, which I'll explain later, since they have different attributes, their final bonus will be different, so don't worry about those shared proficiencies unless you're creating your Eidolon or leveling up. They also make separate saving throws. That makes sense since they have 2 separate positions. If a dragon breathes fire, it might only hit 1, so only 1 has to make a saving throw. For most results of a saving throw, positive or negative, it will affect you, the summoner, and your Eidolon differently. The only strange situation is if both the summoner and Eidolon get hit, and the results affects one of their shared pools, like actions or does damage to their hit points. In these situations, you take the worst, like the most damage, or the more severe condition. The summoner and Eidolon share control as well. If anything affects the control of the shared action pool, the summoner wins. Most of the summoner's other abilities can be split into the spellcasting of the summoner or the fighting of the Eidolon. Your spellcasting is spontaneous and has a tradition that is dependent on your Eidolon's type, which I'll explain later. You don't get that many spells, and once you reach level 5, you start to lose spell slots, which means you need to get rid of 2 spells in your spell repertoire, although they can be of any rank. You also get link spells, which are focus spells that bolster your Eidolon. 2 key link spells you get right away are Evolution Surge, which can temporarily give your Eidolon new abilities, or Boost Eidolon, a link cantrip that doesn't use focus points and gives your Eidolon a 1-round damage boost. That brings us to our next section, designing your Eidolon. First, it's a good idea to have some general concept of what you want your Eidolon to look like, or you can wait to see the rules to inspire you. The second step is to decide on your Eidolon's type. In the Secrets of Magic book, where the summoner was released, there are 12, and each one corresponds to one of the 4 magic traditions. They are Angel, Psychopomp, Demon, Beast, Fey, Plant, Anger Phantom, Devotion Phantom, Construct, and Dragon. Pick the one that fits best. Your GM might not have a problem with your bull-headed octopus being an Angel Eidolon if it fits your idea of a strange divine messenger from another planet, or maybe they would just rather you pick beast. Your Eidolon's type will affect certain parts of your summoner as well. It gives you your magic tradition, training in 2 skills, and a new language. Then determine your Eidolon's attributes. Each type comes with 2 possible arrays of attributes, which also come with an item bonus to your Eidolon's armor, as if they were wearing armor. That's just meant to represent tough armor, scales, or some deflective aura. The 2 arrays are different depending on your Eidolon's type, but generally there's a strong option and a dexterous option. Once you pick that, you can create your Eidolon's attacks. Your Eidolon gets 2 unarmed attacks, and you can decide what they are. You can choose the statistics of the first attack from this list, while the second attack will always be 1d6 with finesse and agile traits. So for example, I might make a horn attack with these statistics and a tentacle attack with these statistics. Your Eidolon might have a weapon, but this is still considered an unarmed attack. Then you can figure out your Eidolon's proficiencies. All Eidolons start trained in unarmed attacks and unarmored defense, while their saving throw and skill proficiencies start the same as the summoner. The final bits just include their languages, which are the same as the summoner, and their size, senses, speed, and traits, which you can refer to their type. That should give you enough to create your Eidolon's character sheet, which should represent your concept. As your summoner levels up, they'll get new class feats, which will give them new abilities or link spells. They can also choose evolution feats, which will change your Eidolon's appearance and give them strange new abilities like glide or form. These evolution feats let you customize your Eidolon even more over time. You get a bonus evolution feat at level 1, which you can use to make your Eidolon extra weird. Your Eidolon can't really wear magic items. Technically they can have 2, but they need the Eidolon tag. However, any magic bonuses you get from magic items will apply to the Eidolon too. In conclusion, while the summoner is a spellcaster, their Eidolon is usually a melee fighter, giving you, the player, the capability to do both. You can design your Eidolon to be almost anything you want, and while your spellcasting is limited in its spells, you can easily bolster your Eidolon with link spells. Most importantly, you can use Act Together to use one action for free while your partner does some other activity.